That's why you stopped coming to Toastmasters, apparently. No.
Well, I'm not ready for the quiz, but I'll read the book. Thank you very much.
Hey, aerospace.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Well, you know, this is just like homecoming. Well, it's Las Vegas, you know, what can one say? My communications director warned me that this is a structural engineering convention. It's not a CSI party. So you need to be dignified. And there will be no Lady Gaga or Katy Perry singing. So we are limited in what we can offer you today. But I just wanted to say something. When I started out to say that this is homecoming, I really mean that, because there are so many people here today that I have not seen literally in decades. And just to be here to experience that makes it all worthwhile. I just have to thank you, because let's face it, we have such a high appreciation for each and every member of the structural engineering profession, because it's only because of you that we are who we are. You use our software, and that makes us be able to do these kind of parties. So thank you so very much. And then, of course, I want to say a little bit about the structural engineering profession, because, you know, I have such a love for the profession. Let's face it, look outside. Each and every structure that you see standing up there is only there because structural engineers exist. You know, I know that whenever an earthquake comes, we go look for all of the damaged structures. But we also know that all of these buildings that could have fallen down and did not. All of those bridges that could have fallen down but did not. All of the death and destruction that could have happened but did not. That is the power of your profession. That you are about prosperity, about saving lives, about promoting progress for today and for all future generations to come. That is our profession. And that is you. So we deserve a really, really big hand just for that. Of course, you know what we're celebrating here. my relationship with Ed Wilson spans a good 40 years. First as a student, most importantly, he bailed me out when I went for my first job interview and told them I knew more than what I did know. And I came running up to Ed's office. I said, "You wrote that STC 3DF. I need to know everything about it, and I need to know it now." You know, and he was very gracious. He gave me the manual. He sent me down to the research assistants on the 3rd floor, and I got the information that I needed to save my face and get hired by Frank McClure, who was another icon of earthquake engineering that many of us know about. As through the times, we all are very familiar with the work that Ed has done. That needs no introduction. Over the past 50 years, his work is not reflected in all of CSI's products, but his generosity in sharing his knowledge, his reports, his source code with everyone that wanted it out there has resulted in every major product having traces in major ways of his original research. But we all know that for me, from a personal standpoint, I look at it as that, which I've said on many an occasion, that in order to be able to see far, you either have to be a giant or you have to look for a giant that would allow you to climb up on his shoulders. And to me, Ed was that. So it is my pleasure today to introduce to you Ed Wilson, my mentor, my professor, and above all, my friend.
Thank you all for coming. It's great to see a room full of professional structural engineers, particularly honoring a professor that does not have a professional license. But I contribute my success to being at the right place at the right time, just like I think Ashraf was the right place at the right time. And I've been using the computer now since 1957, 54 years, and I still program it, and I still love creating numerical algorithms for solving difficult dynamic problems and nonlinear problems in structural analysis. And the turning point in my life was when, after I returned from Korea and started my master's degree, I worked under a real giant, someone about 100 feet taller than me, and that was Ray Clough. And he was a good friend, and they're both MIT graduates of Joe Penzian. But really, after we developed these programs at the university, we could use them, and a few people in the profession could use them, but then the genius of Ashraf came through. He had used them, and he saw that a lot of the design, a lot of the drafting, and everything could be automated and they could be improved. And now, if you look at my original work and say SAP 2000, it is less than 1% of this monumental contribution that Ashraf has made. Because the theory has been well known in structural analysis for over a century. But to make it in a usable form for the profession and to teach the profession. He forgot to mention that he started out with a one-man firm, and he started giving courses on how to use programs, And he worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And still he has that habit of calling me on Sunday night. Of course, I'm in front of my computer, and but we've become extremely close friends, and he is deserving of a lot of praise, and I'd like us to give him a hand for his contribution. Really the profession, your questions, that drove both Ashraf and myself into putting the options into programs. As he said, I gave all the programs away up until about 1980. And the government did, we had Jack Beaucamp and I had a grant from National Science Foundation to test buildings and bridges and other things and see how the dynamic results compared to theoretical. Well, Jack did the field testing and I did the analysis and developed the programs. Then I bought a computer, $8,000 for a little Z80. It was before even the Radio Shack. And I started developing programs, and I did not use one statement from SAP4, the last program that was related. Ashraf was along with me, and as soon as it was operational, he started inputting the graphics, the design, and all of these things. And then later on, this was the early 80s, by 1990, he had converted it to Windows, and that time, for several years, it wasn't until about 90 you started in hiring people, 85 maybe, that helped him. By the way, he treats his employees very well. There's no unionization. And sometimes one of his employees will leave, and then I'll see them come back in a year or two. So he's a very, very generous individual, and we're very fortunate to have him as a member of the structural engineering profession. And finally, I'd like to, because I spent a lot of time, particularly when I was first married, in the computer center when we were punching cards all night, for my wife, who waited for me at home with the two small children. But one of the reasons we came back here to Nevada, that 51 years ago, we eloped and came to Nevada and got married. And everybody said it would never work, you know. For some reason, she stuck with me. So, my wife, Diane, thank you very much.
Happy birthday to